Well, you know, I may be dating myself here, but you know, the male culture for me, I remember growing up is you had the idea of the marble man, right, on the billboards as you're driving by. You know, this guy who was about 6'2" with a nice, you know, 5 o'clock shadow, and you know what I mean, the cowboy hat, and just that macho, burly kind of guy. And you know that his job was to, you know, go out and bring home the bacon and you know, take care of his family, and that was it, and raise their kids, you know, to be strong and healthy and all that, especially if they were boys, right? Being able to lift up that garbage bag with one hand because you were so strong. Well, what if you're not 6'2"? What if you're only 5'7"? And so here I remember growing up. Here I was, I think in another lifetime I was a gladiator because I had the heart of a gladiator, but my body, I didn't choose the body of one, right? So I played all these sports that, you know, you needed to be a decent sized person, right? So I was always reminded of how small I was growing up. And so I remember hearing things like from my dad, "What's the matter? You can't lift up that garbage with one hand by now? You know, you're 13 years old." And, you know, and then like those little things would sort of like begin to emasculate you, you know? I was the type of guy that I talked about my feelings, what was going on in my mind. I would have lots of girls as friends, and I would want to know what was going on in their world and how was their day, because I enjoyed all of that. Now, did I play sports? Yeah, I played rough and tough sports. Was I a fighter? Absolutely. I wasn't an offensive fighter. I was always defensive, but you know, but I can hold my own for someone, you know, my size. But in this reality, being a sensitive guy is a sign of weakness. Okay, and you know, or maybe even questions your sexual orientation. You know, and so I loved to love growing up, even as a kid, even when I was in high school. And I don't know if this is probably when I lost my virginity, right? I knew the difference between making love and having sex with somebody. There's a fundamental difference. And when I used to describe that to my male friends, "Oh, you're such a homo," you know, da 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 da. And you know, guys just don't talk about that sort of thing. And so I was always made wrong for looking at the stars and saying how beautiful things were. I was always made wrong for talking about the difference between making love to a woman versus just having sex to get off. I was always made wrong for moving my body in a certain way or smiling in a picture because I looked like a sissy if I smiled that way. And then after a while, you start to wonder yourself, like, what am I? Who am I? It's like I go to try to be myself, but you have all those voices in your head that's not being a man. That's not being a guy, right? And then when you go through the school system and you're put in all these remedial classes, well, geez, how am I going to produce for my family if I can't make it in the world, right? So again, you feel less of a man.